A president vanished overnight. A commander was assassinated in a meticulously planned operation, like something out of a movie. A regime collapsed as if it had never existed. And you're sitting there asking yourself, who's pulling all the strings? The answer isn't hidden in a science fiction film. The answer has 3 letters: CIA. And in this video, we're not going to give you the official version. We're going to tell you what really happened. There's a huge difference between an intelligence agency that gathers information and one that creates reality. Most people know that the CIA is an American spy agency, but what they don't know is that it's the only agency in the world that can fund covert operations without any oversight, support coups, recruit individuals, and change the course of entire countries, all under the guise of national security. It's not an agency that monitors, it's an agency that controls. And to understand how they got here, you have to go back to the beginning. America entered World War II late and due to a clear intelligence failure. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, and America had no idea what was happening just kilometers away. President Roosevelt established the Office of Strategic Services, OSS, the first organized American intelligence agency. But after the war, the OSS was dissolved. The problem? The Soviet Union was growing at an alarming rate, taking control of Eastern European countries one after another. President Truman felt he was catching up to a train that was leaving the station. So in 1947, Truman signed the National Security Act, and on that day, the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, was officially born. But there was a problem that no one talked about much. The act didn't specify exactly what the agency was allowed to do, and this legal vacuum is the most dangerous thing in the whole story. Even Truman himself said in his memoirs that the biggest mistake he ever made was establishing the CIA in that way. The CIA's mission was supposed to be simple: gather information, analyze it, and deliver it to the president. But what happened was quite different. The first real test was Iran, 1953. Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh nationalized Iranian oil, which had been controlled by Britain. The US and Britain feared he was getting closer to the Soviets. So the CIA and British intelligence, MI6, carried out Operation Ajax. They paid bribes, instigated demonstrations, bought off officers and politicians, and ultimately, a military coup took place and the Shah returned to power. The result? The first successful covert coup in CIA history. And then, just 1 year later, Guatemala, 1954. The president wanted to distribute the land owned by major American companies to the poor. They labeled him a communist and carried out Operation PB Success. The coup succeeded, and Guatemala descended into a 40-year civil war that claimed 200,000 lives. And then Syria in 1957, Indonesia, the Congo. The director at the time, Alan Dulles, considered himself the chief architect of coups around the world, and he was very pleased with his success rate. But then came the Bay of Pigs and changed everything. Cuba in 1961. The CIA recruited Cuban opponents of Castro, trained them, and sent them on a small military invasion. The plan: if they failed, America would intervene directly. But the new president, John F. Kennedy, said no. The opponents were captured and most of them were killed. Castro was stronger than ever. Kennedy fired Dulles and announced he was going to shut down the CIA. And you know what happened to Kennedy after that. There's something that gets talked about a lot, that the CIA and the FBI can't stand each other. The CIA is supposed to operate outside of America. The FBI is supposed to operate inside of America. But these boundaries weren't always clear. The biggest clash between them was during the Watergate scandal with Nixon. The press and Congress started digging into the agency's history, and huge scandals came to light. planned assassinations, and a program called MK Ultra, where the CIA was drugging people with LSD without their knowledge, with the aim of controlling their minds. Not science fiction, official documents. Congress intervened and established an oversight committee. And in 1976, President Ford banned political assassinations without prior approval. It seemed then that there were finally boundaries, but this situation didn't last long. The September 11, 2001 attacks were the biggest intelligence failure in American history after Pearl Harbor. The CIA knew there were Al-Qaeda members inside the United States. The FBI knew too. But because of their mutual animosity, they didn't share the information. 19 people, 4 planes, and an image no one will ever forget. After that day, all the restrictions imposed on the CIA collapsed. The secret detention and interrogation program began, or, as they called it in high-class American marketing, enhanced interrogation techniques. Secret prisons without addresses, black sites. Detainees disappearing without trial. Methods described in a 6,000-page Senate report as brutal and worse than the CIA portrayed them. And most importantly, no one was held legally accountable. The only person who paid the price was John Kiriakou, a CIA officer who left the country in 2007 and exposed the torture programs on ABC News. The government tried him for espionage and sentenced him to 2 years in prison. Exposing torture equals prison. The torture itself equals nothing. Everything we've talked about so far, that was in the era of traditional human espionage. Now, the situation is completely different. In 2017, WikiLeaks published Vault 7, the biggest leak in the history of intelligence hacking tools. What did we discover? They can hack into your car and control it remotely. They can turn any speaker or smart TV into a microphone that can listen to you. They can hack into your phone's camera without your knowledge. And any device with a computer, they can control it. And we won't forget the pager operation with Hezbollah, how they turned ordinary communication devices into pocket bombs. Anything with modern technology can be turned into a tool. And here's a direct question for you. Are you chatting with someone on WhatsApp right now? Sending an email? Using a smart car? John Kiriakou himself said, every message you send, every call, they can intercept it directly from the phone company without having to do anything complicated. And it doesn't stop there. What about the DNA tests you're taking to find out your lineage? This data goes to a place you don't know where. A question I need to answer honestly. Is it possible they could reach you, an ordinary citizen? The short answer is no, if you're truly ordinary. The real answer is if you become important, if you become a voice that influences, if you reveal something they don't want anyone to know, then the situation is different. First example, Abu Omar al-Masri, a sheikh who sought refuge in Italy, was abducted by the CIA from a street in Milan in blatant daylight and returned to Egypt for interrogation. Second example, Julian Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, hid in an embassy for years, but they eventually found him. Third example, Sergei Skripal, a Russian agent who defected to Britain. He was poisoned with a nerve agent in England. He barely survived. The principle is the same for all agencies. If they decide you're a threat, regardless of your nationality or location, they will reach you. The CIA isn't just a spy agency, it's a tool for shaping political reality. And now, with artificial intelligence, digital identity, and the shift to a cashless world, surveillance won't decrease, it will increase. The game continues. The real question is, who will win this intelligence race? America, China, or Russia? Leave your opinion in the comments, and if you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel because there are even bigger topics coming soon.